YouTube channel for the Wide Nation of Sports by Hunter Tickle. Hit that subscribe button. Guys, welcome into another edition of Wide Nation of Sports. We got a great guest here today. He's the third-year coach at University of Evansville for their men's basketball squad. He's a former player at University of Southern Indiana. He's also did his time as well as an assistant in the college ranks. David Ragland, how we doing, Coach?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great. It's great to have
Good.
you. Always good to
Yeah.
have
Thanks for having me.
Midwest coaches and Indiana coaches on here. I wanted to start with the new year is coming up here in a couple of days. You got to have some memories of playing basketball for Southern Indiana around the New Year holiday. Maybe it was Christmas holiday. Anything you can
All right.
tell me about playing around the holiday season?
I've got a couple. I actually started my playing career at Missouri Southern State College, which is in Joplin, Missouri. And I do remember one year we played a tournament in Puerto Rico, and we had roughly 48 hours to get home and spend time with our family. And I remember the first time spending Christmas in the airport where I had to sleep overnight to get finally get back home. So I have a lot of memories of holidays, especially Thanksgiving and Christmas, being away from family. Whether it's playing or traveling.
Mm-hmm.
When I played at USI, we were in Vegas one year. Away from family and just always traveling, always on the go. It's the life of a basketball player, life of a basketball coach. I'm definitely not complaining. There's a reason why they call it Feast Week now during
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving, and you have a decent amount of tournaments around Christmas too. So it's a fun time.
And guys, like I said, we got David Ragland on here, coach of University of Evansville men's basketball. Um, they're coming off a 57-40 win over Missouri State in their last conference game there in the Missouri Valley. Coach, I wanted to touch on this. So I know you were an assistant. You did a lot of time at several programs in Indiana and around the area, as well as Indiana State. Can you tell me kind of maybe how much you've seen kind of the climate of college basketball shift maybe in the last decade or, couple of
Yeah,
decades? I mean, I know, for instance, Jim Larinaga leaving Miami of, the U,
yeah,
retiring. I know that's probably a weight on a lot of people's minds. That's kind of like a hot topic right now, but
right.
anything you can tell me from your perspective of kind of like maybe how things were in the early 2010s versus what you're looking at now with some of
I
that?
it's changed a lot. It's changed a lot. I used to be, at Vincent University and Frank Phillips College that are junior colleges, and the turnover in rosters was the norm. Like you knew that you may have some guys for 2 years. Sometimes you have guys for one year, but you knew your team was going to be different every single year. Where when I first went to Indiana State, I was there for 4 years and we had guys that were there for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
guys that you saw mature from their freshman year to sophomore year, junior, and senior. And then there were some guys that when I got there, the previous staff had redshirting that was see their fifth year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and those times are not the same. Young people, being patient on their progression. The the theory of a bunch of freshmen playing early has just come about in probably the last 10 years. They used to have JV teams, and that
Mm-hmm.
was even ahead of my time.
Yep.
You used to know like, freshman year, we probably won't play it a lot. Sophomore year, maybe a little bit. Junior, senior year, it are the times that you were going to get on the
Mm-hmm.
court, and the patience for young people to have that, progression, the proper progression, whenever you mature, mentally, physically, all those things just isn't the same. And then whenever you throw in the collective and NIL and
Mm-hmm.
transfer portal and guys being able to switch schools every single year, it's getting muddier and muddier. It's going from collegiate sports and even, institutions like are for young people to progressively get better, um, add hours in terms of your credits, your education to prepare you to for a long-term success. And now,
Hmm.
you're seeing guys leaving from one school to another. Um, you're not seeing that same just state of college,
Hmm.
the college experience, for students, the student athletes have just changed a ton, and it's went from collegiate sports to now pro sports
Hmm.
without the proper parameters around it, and everyone's trying to figure it out without the proper guardrails, and it's just hopefully to get figured out soon. It's a bit messy.
Hmm.
I feel for a lot of people. I feel for parents. I feel for the student athletes. I feel for coaches,
Yeah.
administrators, stakeholders. I mean, there's so many people that are involved that are trying to problem solve, and it's just a bit hectic right now.
And last year, you guys went, pretty big jump for you. I mean, you got in the
Right.
saddle really late for that first year. I remember you
Yeah.
got in really late. So that first year wasn't really a first year. It was kind of almost like a half
Right.
year for you in terms of when you got in, and
Yeah.
getting the full cycle was year two for you. You guys go
Correct.
17 and 18, won a postseason game in the CBI, won a game in the Valley tournament.
Yeah.
It really increased your win total in the league. And obviously, you saw it firsthand. You had a guy go to Nevada. You had a guy after that. You had a guy go as well to Illinois, and then you also had a guy go to Seton Hall.
Correct.
Um,
Yeah.
is there a solution, or do you have anything you want to dish about maybe like a potential solution for what these things look like?
I mean, it'd be great to have multi-year contracts, and then in order to opt out of that multi-year contract, you can there's a buyout to it. That would be one way to do it.
Hmm.
Uh, at the end of the day, we're now dealing in pro sports, so let's have pro type contracts. And right now we don't have that. You see that, people are trying to go after Coach Hamilton, saying that he promised them, X amount of dollars. If it's in a contract, then there's no, back and forth like that.
Hmm.
So
It's those
having
guardrails you spoke of. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, having contracts, having multi-year contracts, having buyouts to them would really really help. Again, it's just about having guardrails. That way, there's a clear understanding of, hey, this is how it goes, and if you do this one thing, here's a result of that decision,
Right.
and then everyone's under the same understanding, under the same um, just we're all on the same page.
Hmm.
And right now it's all over the map, and um, there's just no clear understanding of here's how things should go.
I remember last year when I was on the beat at Indiana State, covering them for the Tribune Star. Even
Hmm.
like when you guys came to Holman Center in Terre Haute, or
Yeah,
when the Sycamores traveled to you guys at U of E,
yeah,
definitely felt like you guys had a really close bunch, even your team. And that's what
yeah,
surprised me so much was you still guys had a huge roster turnover, even though you guys felt almost like a family.
yeah.
So I guess sometimes I guess just sometimes the dollar, the situation to go to another school just kind of trumps all
Oh,
that.
no doubt. I mean, yeah, if you don't know for sure, what's the best opportunity that you'll ever have, like I mean, some folks are making, you know, $500,000 dollars. Like, how can you say no to that? Like, you
Hmm.
don't know when your moment is your moment,
Hmm.
So you can be really, really close, and I still talk to most of those guys now. Uh,
Hmm.
so I've learned to appreciate each moment. I'm gonna appreciate this team as much as I can. Win, lose, no matter what. Like I'm gonna appreciate them and do what I've signed up to do, and
Hmm.
that's help them be the best version of themselves on and off the court. And you can still be close and you can still be a family. And then there's other variables to it. There's outside noise, outside people saying, hey, this is the best situation for you. You can't say no to this.
Right.
And that can negate everything else. Whether it's fit, whether it's relationship, all that stuff doesn't matter when you're starting to make, at the end of the day, business decisions.
Hmm.
Business decisions negate relationship feelings.
And you guys are about to get here now into the thick of the Missouri Valley Conference season. Guys, we got Coach David Ragland on here today from University of Evansville men's basketball. Um, Anything you've learned about your team? I know it's a lot of turnover, as we said.
Right.
Going to be a competitive Valley season, as it always is. But anything you're kind of honing in on with this particular squad? And I know you had a couple guys coming back, but mostly just kind of a new cover.
Yeah, no, for the most part, it's a new group. We had three guys that played, significant minutes last year
Hmm.
that returned. There's some other guys that are playing a decent amount of minutes that are finding their footing in collegiate sports and in the Missouri Valley. One thing that I felt was good for us, and we'll see how it continues to matriculate, was our non-conference schedule was extremely tough. Played against a lot of teams that were senior heavy, that were very physical, that could shoot it well, that was
Hmm.
pretty good in transition. And, it made our team aware, I feel like, of, how important it is to be urgent in transition, to be physical without fouling, to embrace some physicality, to get to the next play, to defend a three, but also guard your yard, keep your man in front of you, and then protect the paint. So, you hope those experiences, really, really help you out in league play. I think it's going to be a really good, hard fought league schedule. We have a lot. I mean, we're the 10th best league in the country by metrics.
Hmm.
So that tells you about the competition. It tells you about, the players we have in our league, the coaches we have in our league, the commitment that our administrations have in this league to make it a very prominent basketball league.
Hmm.
So we just have to get better every single day and bring it every single night. Know that we're going to be in a dogfight and we got to do whatever it takes to pull away with a win. Just got to be 1 point better than the other team, and we're going to try to do what we can to make sure that happens.
It's your third year at U of E. Is there a couple of squads that you feel like have had a lot of continuity and are kind of doing well? Maybe have set kind of a program standard. I mean, a couple of teams come to my mind, but what have you seen from maybe a couple of teams in the conference that maybe some other teams in the conference might be kind of trying to emulate?
Right. Well, I mean, it's tough, right? Because most of our uh, guys that had an opportunity to come back that started, that were first team, second team, whatever,
Hmm.
have left. So there's a lot of turnover with a lot of different teams. And we played Missouri State last night, and they have a completely different team, completely different coach and staff and all that. So there's been a lot of turnover throughout our league in terms of coaches and rosters. Ben Jacobson is, my mind, like the Godfather, right? He's been doing it for a long time, 20 plus years at Northern Iowa.
Hmm.
Does a really good job putting his guys in positions to be successful offensively. Will defend you and guard you on the defensive end, make things very, very, very difficult for you. So he's kind of the standard in my mind. The other person has been there for a while is Wardle, and he's done a great job at Bradley. Those teams defend you. They're
Hmm.
very physical. It's extremely hard to play in Peoria, but I mean they're very very competitive, really good. And then Drake has kind of set the standard, right?
Hmm.
I think their administration, their AD, is really really good. I've known him, for a little while, but he does a good job just setting the culture, and they've been able to have a coaching change and still stay at the level that's been created. So the administration's done a great job there at Drake. And they've hired, they had a really good coach in DeVries and hired a really good coach in Ben that they have now. So they kind of figured out the blueprint. Um, and I would say, Belmont, with as much turnover that they've had, continue to stay competitive. They have a style of play that they recruit to,
Hmm.
and they have their niche, which is very important.
Hmm.
I think everyone has to be able to do that, find your niche. So those are the teams that I would name, and Murray State. Prom has been there before.
Hmm.
Left, now he's back, and I think they're doing a really good job investing into their programs. So across the board, it's a really good league.
Yep.
But I would say in terms of like consistency, those teams that I named have kind of found their niche, or their coaches have been there, like Wardle and Jacobson, for quite some time.
And then, Coach, I know you've been doing your thing in Evansville now for this your third season. What can you tell me, maybe a name or two for like a mentor or someone you might go to every once in a while for like some advice, whether it's a text or a call, like someone like that who might be helping you in these the coaching ranks.
Man, I'm very, very fortunate. Have done it for a while, that I have a number of people that I can call. Because we're all busy, and
Hmm.
sometimes if guys have games, I always try to check schedules. I see if
Yeah.
people are playing. Whenever I need to vent or ask questions, I have a few people that I can call, and obviously, coached under some really, really good coaches. The first one that gave me my start in the Division I ranks was Greg Lansing, who was head coach at Indiana State
Hmm.
for a while. He's always somebody that I can reach out to. Spent a little time at Valpo, which is also in the league. So I still talk to Matt Loddick. Then I spent some time at Utah State. Who is kind of like Drake has.
Hmm.
We started something really, really special at Utah State under Craig Smith, and they've been able to now, three coaches later, keep that same type of commitment to excellence and production on the court at a high level. So I still talk to Craig, and I spent some time with LaVal Jordan at Butler. Talk to him, but
Hmm.
Chris Lowry is from Evansville. Was at one time the head coach at Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
He's another person I can reach out to when I need to. But very fortunate to have a lot of people in my corner
Hmm.
uh, that maybe other people don't know, that reach out with a timely phone call or
Hmm.
message, or I'm able to call and get back to center, so to speak. But very fortunate to grow some great relationships with some really good people that basketball brings you closer to a lot of people, and I've been able to form some great friendships throughout my time.
Coach, you mentioned Chris Lowry. Where were you at, or what were you doing in your career when they went to the Sweet 16? You remember that?
Yeah, I was actually my first year of coaching college basketball. I was at Frank Phillips College,
Okay.
uh, because I want to say they ended up playing in St. Louis, or maybe I know they were in St. Louis, and I saw him in St. Louis at that time.
Hmm.
But yeah, I remember that team really, really well.
Good one.
I obviously always followed Coach Lowry.
Hmm.
Uh, I was actually just with Rodney Watson, who does some stuff with Southern Illinois. Um, they coached together for a while.
Hmm.
Uh, and Matt Painter is a good friend of mine, and Paul Lusk, who Chris Lowry played with at Southern Illinois. Both of them coached me at Missouri Southern.
Very
Uh,
cool. Yep.
so a couple gray hairs that they have, I can take credit for that.
You take
But no,
own
just
it.
yeah, really, really, really good people, and I remember exactly where I was at during that time.
And then, Coach, I want to take you back to your playing days again. We'll cap it on that.
Yeah.
What were some of the best players that you had duels with, whether it was in high school and college? Like, can you name drop some and some describe some of those experiences?
Yeah, I will go back to high school first. We were fortunate enough to my senior year of high school to go to the semi-state. We ended up getting beat by North Central, who ended up winning it all. And Jason Gardner was their
Mm-hmm.
main player who ended up going to Arizona, having a really good career. I've been reminded once I went back to Butler, that there was another Gardner on that team,
Okay.
Nick Gardner, who actually played at Butler, and then he does radio, he does play-by-play for them. He's like, there was another Gardner that was on that team, so he reminded me that as soon as I got there. Really good guy, um, but there he played on an AAU team. Jason Gardner did,
Mm-hmm.
called No Excuses, and their team was it was him, it was Brody Boyd who went to Iowa, played at Iowa, uh, Zach Randolph, um, we all know Zach Randolph, John Stewart,
Zebo. Shout out to
Zebo,
Zebo.
yeah, a guy named John Stewart who unfortunately passed away in '99. Um, um, was supposed to go to Kentucky, 7-footer. I mean, he was good. Uh, but played against them in high school, AAU, had some really, really good teams. The one name that I will never forget, kind of embarrassed to say this, but I'm gonna say it. Like wherever this guy is at, I'm gonna look him up once we get off this call now.
Okay.
Marlon Palmer played for Kentucky Wesley, and I was at USI at the time. And this dude had 30 points and 15 rebounds on me at halftime.
Oh. Oh.
Yes. I was like, and at the
Hmm.
time, so I'm pretty sure Bruce Pearl started this where the starters could kind of they can sub themselves in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Rick Curtis, my head coach, took over, he kept that same, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so I started at the time. And at halftime, I told my backup, "Hey man, you got it." Like I can't do anything with this. So
Yep.
yeah, man, that was a name that I'll never forget because he took me to school.
Yeah. I'm sure you're just like, well, that I can't do nothing. You give it a shot. You might do
Yeah,
better, do a lot better
yeah.
than
Good
that.
luck. I'll be on the bench praying for you.
Yeah. Well, guys, it was great having Coach David Ragland on, third year coach with the University of Evansville Aces. They have a game coming up. They're getting in the thick of the Missouri Valley Conference on Wednesday, and they play Indiana State on Saturday. Coach, it's great to have you today. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Happy holidays. See you.
Subscribe on our YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and we will have a new episode coming up very soon.